Witch Trials Weekly, Supplemental Video 3, Venus Glass, the science behind Oomancey.
Hello, we're going to have a little science experiment for this edition of Witch Trials Weekly. We've told you in some earlier videos about St. Agnes Eve and various types of fortune-telling that were common in the 17th century, and it is believed that one of the girls, possibly Betty Paris, confessed to Reverend Hale that the girls tried some harmless divination before the onset of the trials. Some people believe that the girls created a Venus glass to divine their future husband's profession. They used egg and water scrying, or Oomancey, where you take the white of an egg and pour it into a glass of water, and then the white of the egg creates different formations within the glass, and you're supposed to divine from that your future husband's profession, so that way you know him when you meet him. It's believed that one of the girls saw coffins, which freaked her out, obviously. Did this mean that she would be the bride of death? Did this mean that she would die before she was married? Did this mean that she would marry a coffin builder? There are so many different options. Or did it mean that she would be the cause of death for many innocent people during the Salem witch trials? So as I said, we're going to do a little science today. We are going to create a Venus glass. For the Venus glass, or egg and water scrying, we're going to need a couple different items. Number one, the white of one egg. Now you can either separate the white into a different glass, you can get something semi-sharp to pierce the egg and let it drip out, or you can crack the egg and, pull the yolk back and forth as long as it doesn't end up in the glass. You will need a glass of water. Our water and egg are both at room temperature because obviously they didn't have refrigerators back then. We're going to use a wine glass because I think that will create really interesting images with the white. And we also have this tall glass, which is more resembling of what a beer glass maybe would have looked like. And you need a candle. And depending on your age, you need the assistance of a parent. If you're going to use a knife and flames, just, be safe. Alright, so we're going to try this a couple different ways, because if the girls did this back in 1692, there's really no way of knowing which way they would have done it. Number one, we are going to take this white, which I have separated into a different cup, and pour it slowly into this first wine glass here. Oh, well, not so slowly, because, gravity. And as you can see, it's already streaking into glass there. That's pretty cool. Alright, so I've set that aside and we're going to let it sit for a couple hours and then see what it looks like. We're also going to do the same thing with this tall glass. As I said, I have separated this white into a separate cup and we're going to slowly pour it into the tall glass. Ish. Alright, now that looks pretty cool too. So I'm actually going to turn off the lights and we're going to look at this one right now, because it's possible that the girls could have been in a hurry when they were doing this. They wouldn't have wanted to wait the 2 hours to see what happened. They could have poured it in and watched it as it was going in, and they also could have mixed it up. So I have this spoon. So we're going to see what happens. How cool is that? So you can already see we have some streaks there, and at the bottom of the glass you see some stuff there. I'm just going to give it a little mix and see what happens. Pull it out. Great, and you can sort of see how you could pull different images from the way the water and the white of the egg are moving together. So I'm just going to do it a couple more times and you can sort of divine for yourself what you may be seeing. Alright, and for take number 3, I'm actually going to try to pierce or crack this egg and slowly drip it into the glass. As we know, sometimes science isn't perfect. It might take a little while, in which case we'll just kind of fast forward in the video here. And also, as we saw with the other 2 experiments, you might want to pour it slowly, but gravity is going to dictate otherwise. So, let's give this a shot. And as I said, if you're using something sharp, just be very careful. If you're a child and require parental assistance, do that. Hopefully I didn't pierce the yolk right then. Alright, you may need to poke a couple holes. And you know, if it gets a little more cracked than you expect, don't worry. It's, you know, nothing's perfect. Right. That's slowly dropping into the glass there. This might take a little while, or you can, as I said, use one of the speedier processes of just pouring the white into a separate glass. And I think it's kind of interesting to watch it slowly drip, and I think that creates more streaks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this do its thing, and then we'll get back to you with how it looks in a couple hours. So I showed you the setup, and now it's time to see the final product. I set up a couple different examples. 2 glasses which have had the white of the egg slowly dripped into it, and 2 which have had the white separated into a different glass and dropped into it. So I'm going to show you what those look like with the candlelight, and then maybe I'll mix them up a bit like we did with that second example, so you can see perhaps if that shows you something different. I'm going to let you all decide what it shows or doesn't show on your own. Okay, so this is the drip tall glass. I think with the tall glasses it seems to work better when you mix it around a little bit. Things sort of settle in the bottom and don't the streaks don't last as long as you'll see they do in the wine glasses. So that's the drip tall glass. Here is the drop tall glass. So the drop tall glass turned out pretty interesting. And, you know, different eggs could yield different results, different glasses, so I think it would be interesting to see if people do try this at home, what their results show. This is the drip wine glass, so you can see we have some streaks towards the top over here, and also coming up from the bottom. And here is the drop. I don't really know whether the drip or drop makes much of a difference. I think with the wine glasses, both results were interesting. Right, and we're going to mix this one up to see what this looks like when it's mixed. Just keep in mind if you mix it too much, it might get a little cloudy like this one did. As I said, feel free to try the egg and water scrying or Oomancey. I think that's really interesting and a fun experiment. You can try different types of glasses, different types of eggs, maybe throw some food coloring in there if you want to get a little crazy. Thank you so much for joining us this week. I hope you liked a little something new and hope you have fun with some science yourself.
This video was produced with special permission from the author, Marilyn K. Roach, and publisher, Cooper Square Press. The Salem Witch Trials, a day-by-day chronicle of a community under siege, covers the years 1692 to 1697 in detail. It also touches briefly on important and relevant events before and after this time. We are proud to carry all of Miss Roach's books and publications in our museum store. To get a copy for your personal research and enjoyment, please visit www.salemwitchmuseum.com.